David Savage, a.k.a. Diz, and this is The Force Always.
Okay, so welcome to the show. Let's get on with the Star Wars news. Later on the show, stick around for the review section for the Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 1, which is called The Bad Batch. That's later on in the show, so stick around for that. But being a part of the news this week, it is back on Disney Plus. The Clone Wars, it's Season 7, it's the final season. Episode 1 has just aired. Check it out right now. Two more news. The release date for The Rise of Skywalker Star Wars Episode 9 for Blu-ray and digital. Digital is going to be March 17, and then the Blu-ray and DVD, things like that's going to be March 31. Whether that is the exact date for the worldwide release, I'm unsure, but I'm pretty sure it's close to. But digital, what that actually means, I'm unsure. Could that be Disney Plus? I don't know. I would say so, but anyone's guess at the moment. But the big one, if you want the hard copy, it's going to be March 31. That's The Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9. You can watch it in your pajamas soon enough. To more news, finally, in Melbourne, Australia, not finally in a good way, but finally, the Skywalker, the Rise of Skywalker Episode 9 poster at St Kilda Junction has been removed. It's gone. You know that Star Wars is sort of winding down now with the release of Episode 9 in the theaters. So again, if you're going to see it real soon. Anyway, so that is pretty much the news for this time around. Let's get into the views. Views is about my story ideas. It's not about predictions. It's not about how much one gets for viewage on a YouTube channel. It's just my story ideas. It could do with a poster, it could do with a name, it could do with the standalone films, it could be actually part of the saga itself. But anyway, so my story idea is sort of a connectivity type story, where I said to you last week that I think 2022, which is one of the release dates for a movie release for Star Wars, the next one, which has been unannounced, and I said that could be the Obi-Wan Kenobi film. That's what I think they're going to do. They're going to start off with a film and then lead in with a series. But if it was my story idea to the 2022, 2024, 2026, and they're all December releases, what I will do is still include 2027, which is a fourth movie release. And what I would do, in something different, is with the three main characters from The Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, which is technically in the characters Poe, Finn, and Rey, is have standalone films leading up to a main new film, which would be the saga continuation, Episode 10, 2027. So 2022, I proposed the idea of having a story about Finn, having the main arc, main character being Finn. And then 2024, I would say, having Poe as the main character, the main arc of his storyline, with still Finn in the background, still Rey in the background, even with the Finn film in 2022. That's what I think. In 2026, it should be about Rey getting into the juiciest part of the trilogy, which is the third. And from that point, after the characters have been introduced in a nice connecting and seamless trilogy, it would lead into the actual trilogy of the actual episodic saga, starting off with 10 in an original way, but using those three characters again, somehow with number 10, then 11 and 12. So 2022, it should be about Finn. That's the main Star Wars film, that's what I think. 2024 should be the main thing about Poe, the character that is. And then 2026 about Rey. And then in 2027, episode 10, connecting those three characters together to start off the new trilogy, which would be 10, 11, and 12 if they choose to do it. That's my story idea for this week, just to let you know. Anyway, so let's now get into reviews. Reviews is about The Bad Batch, which is Clone Wars Season 7, which is the final season, Episode 1. It's just aired. So here in Australia, Melbourne, Australia, it's about 8 p.m. as it gets released here on a Friday night. I'm sure in America you're in the middle of the night there just watching it at some ungodly hour, but you know, things are reversed for once. Australia gets it in a good way and America gets it second, but nothing against America, that's how it goes. But anyway, straight off the bat, as I usually would say, I think it was a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was a great entry. It was a seamless entry. It sort of felt like the old Clone Wars thing, just another episode. It sort of felt like a bit of a filler to begin with, but it was still very good. It had a lot of great action sequences, a good sort of setup to future possible episodes, and the fact that it was just about clones and technically, you know, the robotic stormtroopers, I can never remember their names, the ones that say Roger, Roger. It was sort of a good introduction to what Clone Wars is really about again, to the commercialized audience out there, but for Star Wars hardcore fans, I think it was a very good entry. Just visually, it had this wide angle, sort of really polished look. It was, you know, it was been there and done that sort of thing with this episode. I thought it was just well done. 7.5, and that was a solid 7.5 out of 10. You know, they're not the greatest original story ever, but still, it had lots of juice about it, and I'm excited, to be honest, a bit more with this than The Mandalorian at the moment. Besides little Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda, you know, he's rocking the nation everywhere. But anyway, that's my review this time. Let's get into interviews. Interviews is 2 questions where I ask myself for you guys out there. First question is, did the Clone Wars start off in a way that you want to watch it to the end? Sort of connecting to my reviews, and I'm going to say straight away, absolutely yes. You've got to be a hardcore Star Wars fan to really follow this, because if you're not, you may get a little bit lost, and you may sort of think it's a little bit too itty-gritty and not sort of Star Wars regular feeling. But I think it's a good start, and carrying on to the end, there's something about it. It's a very juicy sort of start that is going to, you know, feed our sort of domino effect of each episode to see what happens next. But yeah, it's definitely a great start. Okay, so my next question is, when Clone Wars was in its height, which was, you know, just before The Last Jedi came out, what was the reaction to the Star Wars fans at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando? Now, I can answer this because I was there, and I tell you this, I missed out getting into that panel, that particular celebration, just because I didn't realize how popular it was. The line was massive. At that point, it was, I think, on the 3rd day, and I was so fatigued. I mean, after doing the 40th celebration on the first day, then the Last Jedi on the second day, I was almost on no sleep. And I went out that night to Galaxy Nights. I think it was some theme park. I just needed to get back to the hotel room to sleep something, and that sleep something sort of got in the way of getting in that line early, and sort of missed out on getting to the Clone Wars panel. But it was definitely fever pitch for the hardcore Star Wars fans. Young and old were there. They were all excited. Actually, you know, it is definitely a great show amongst Star Wars fans. They love it. They intrigued by it, and they were looking more forward to it. And so was I, even though I was not so. I was definitely a fan, but I was not. I was just a bit unexpected in how many people were in that line. The point I got there, which was maybe at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and there would have been at least 4,000-ish people lined up just to get into that panel. At that point, probably more, but I'm guessing. But anyway, so that was the answer to that question. If you have any questions, please Instagram me. That's my Instagram down there, including Twitter or via YouTube, whatever you like for me to answer or anything. Ask anything. Anyway, I'm here on a weekly basis with the Star Wars news, views, reviews, and interviews. Subscribe to the channel, The Force Always, only on YouTube. And until next week, my friends, keep rocking.